Clash updates. Capture time with the final objective of point A and E now increases for attackers as segments get secured consecutively from 1x, 1x, 1x to 0.7x to 1.1x to 1.4x to make the segments easier to capture for attackers, but consecutive ones harder. Defenders now respawn instantly as the first segment and the second segment get secured instead of when the previous objective points B and D get captured. What? Wait, what? So this one, okay, so basically the first one, if you need a translation on the first one is trying to make it so that first tick is really hard to secure, but the second tick and the third tick are going to be much easier, so you can like full cap and just win the game easily. But the first tick will be hard. This one, now respawn instantly as the first segment and second segment gets secured. So the way I read this is first tick, if you lose the first tick, instant respawn. If you lose the second tick, instant respawn. No, it's the opposite. Why is it the other way around? The other way around, first segment is easier to cap? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, what did I say? You said slower. Yeah, taking the first tick is going to be slower. No? The second tick will go faster and the third tick will go faster. It'll be easier to capture. The first tick is going to be 0.3% faster. Dude, half of you guys are actually agreeing and saying the opposite from each other. You guys are all saying no and then saying the opposite. I fucking shit you not. There are half of you that are saying easier and half of you saying longer. You guys are fucking losing it. You're just saying no and then saying the opposite. According to you guys, I said both and both were wrong. Read the comments. One smart one. We want to reduce the number of one-sided stomps occurring in the Clash game mode. We also want to address the difficulty of securing at least one segment on the final objective point as attackers. So we tweak the capture time for the defending team to make the fight for objective points B and D more favorable for attackers. That's not the ticks though. What? It's to make the first segment easier? What I said, okay, and the way I understand this is this tick will take much longer to capture. This tick will be slightly faster. So, slow, fast, faster. No? Then how does that make sense? Wouldn't you want it the opposite way? You would want it the opposite way then. Okay, so you're saying the final point, the first tick will be faster to capture for attackers. So you can get that tick easier. Why would you want that? Wouldn't you want the opposite? Because if it's harder to take the first tick, and you fight uphill for it, and you actually take it, that means you're probably getting steamrolled on defense and you just get the game over with. It says capture time only takes 0.7 from previous 1x. It says in the second part of the note. That was the least helpful comment I've read all day. Thank you, first time chatter. The point is if you're steamrolling, you get one easy, but there's now a better fight for the next ticks. But I think the opposite is better. I understand what you're saying, but that's so backwards. Because if they're trying to make it so that one-sided stomps don't happen as often or don't feel as bad, wouldn't you want it to be really hard to fight the first tick, right? And if they actually take it and they beat you, then they just capture the other two and it's game over. It's like whatever, game over. But they're trying to make it so you attack third point and at least go for the tick. Okay. Yeah, you know what? Hey man, I was willing to give Clash a try, but if it's this bad, maybe we just say, fuck it, man, we lost. GG's, right? Because I got asked one time about my take on all the game modes of Overwatch. And I don't mind new game modes, I don't. But like, classic Overwatch to me was control, hybrid, and escort. And the more game modes you add and the more rules and all these complex shit, like, no more game modes. No more. Like, whatever we're at right now, period. Put a fucking tack on it, and that's it for like the next 5 years. Because I'd rather see more maps of actual modes that we play than making more modes for fun. Because now, if you only get a map every other season, that means control, escort, hybrid, flashpoint, push, and clash. There's six modes in one map every other season. And how many seasons are there a year? What? So a season is about 2 months. So every 4 months you get a new map. So about 3 maps a year. So 3 maps a year, and there's 6 game modes. So it could be potentially 2 years or more before one game mode gets a map. That's only saying if it equally always does that, where it's like they always give one to the next game mode, and Overwatch doesn't do that. Sometimes it does control, escort, control, or push, control, push. You know what I mean? So like, it could be multiple years before game modes get a map these days. I think that's bad. And I think if the game mode is this fucking complicated, and it's this much of a struggle for them to get people to actually play the game correctly, it's cooked. It's cooked. Because I hear what you guys are saying now. I understand. The first tick will be easier to capture, so people actually push it, and the second tick and third tick are much harder, so it's easier to come back and defend. That being said, though, I would think it would be the opposite, because if you make it a really hard uphill battle to take that point, it keeps them in the game for longer. But if they get rolled on like the easiest point to hold with your spawn being right there, then it's like most players just want to get the game over with and want to move on, right? But I understand that that's not what they want. They don't want to give players like the ability to just like give up and move on, right? I get that too. So maybe the game mode's just cooked. And I've heard some people in the community say that like this game mode is really fucking bad. And I hated it the first week because they were pushing it really hard. And I played like 18 games of Clash my first day of the new season. But I realized it was probably because I was oversaturated, gave myself a little time, get away from it for a bit. And I was like, okay, I'm willing to give it a chance, right? But if this is what's happening, I think it's cooked. Let me read the rest of it really quick. Defenders now respawn instantly after the first segment, and the second segment gets secured. Okay, I did that already. Unlock time for final objective points A and E have been increased from 25 seconds to 27.5 seconds. Decay rate on the final objectives A and E have been doubled for the attackers to not lose their progress as quickly when stepping off the point. We're gonna do it again, chat. Isn't decay rate like how fast it decays? And if you doubled it, wouldn't that make it decay faster? Not lose their progress as quickly? Would you lose it faster because they increase the decay rate? Just saying. It sounds like we can't even all get on the same page because I had a hard time reading it, and it might have a hard time being written. Just saying. If that's where we're at, this point, where it's getting so fucking convoluted that I can't understand it and they can't understand it. We might be cooked. I'm not gonna lie. This is probably one of my least favorite patches in a long time. And they really put the scare of Halloween into us this season. I guess the Halloween terror was the patch notes command. The capture time for defenders on objective points B and D has been increased by 10% to give attackers more opportunities to attack the point. Whatever.